Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rachel Sibingani. I am an investigative journalist specializing in crime with special interest in prisons and prisoners. I had asked you guys to, I made a post actually on Facebook and asked you to comment with your questions. You could ask me anything, and I'm very excited to be doing this Q&A video today because it's all dedicated to all of you guys. I am going to be answering all of your questions, and I'm very glad that a lot of you asked me questions that will help you to really understand the kind of person that I am. So thank you so much. Let's not waste time and get right into it. The first question. So I'll be looking into my laptop. I don't wonder why I keep on looking down. I'll be looking down on my laptop to read your questions. So the first question is from Mpulo Rasetori. He was saying, what inspired you to choose your profession? What motivates you to continue with your job? How old are you? Where are you from? What inspires me is the passion that I have for storytelling. I believe that I was born a storyteller. I believe that my purpose in life is to tell stories and is to tell the untold stories of Botswana. I am one person who believes that we have so many untold stories in Botswana, and I believe that I've been chosen, to tell these kind of stories. So a lot of you guys asked me why I chose the path that I've chosen. I grew up in Tamara. So having grown up in Tamara and Kuchai, having been able to be part of the Kotla meeting and seeing life at home in the village, I was able to really appreciate what is it or how is it like growing up in the village. So many stories were being told, and such stories you would not hear them on radio, you would not hear them on TV. So I wondered, why are we not having such stories being told on radio? And I said, you know what, I'm going to be the one who's going to be telling the stories. So to answer your question, Bulo, I am from Tamaga village and I am 31 years old. I'll be 31 in September. I'll be turning 31. The second question is from Walubaka AK. Are you not afraid or maybe someone cannot take you after covering their story? And the second question is, what are you doing to try and work with the Botswana Prison Service? And have you met the Commissioner of Prisons, Mayor Marate? Being scared is part of my job. I do get scared sometimes. It's not like I'm just okay, it's normal for me. No, I do get scared sometimes, especially when I am covering stories of murderers, stories of robbers. Ghana, these are very dangerous criminals. So, of course, some get to threaten me, but they've never attacked me. There's a question where I was being asked whether I've been attacked or not. So I do get scared sometimes, of course. It does happen. What do you do to work with prisons? Have you met with the commissioner? I'm still in the quest to meet with the commissioner. That is what I really want to do. I've been trying to set up meetings to meet up with her. And what am I doing to her to work with them? That is something that will be in our discussions as I meet with them. Are you the only journalist that focuses on investigating criminals? I don't want to believe that I'm the only journalist who investigates criminals. I do believe there are others, even though I wouldn't really point out or it's so and so, but I do believe they're out there. And maybe the only difference could be that they are probably not doing it the way I do it. So that will be the difference with me and them. Does prison rehabilitate as expected more higher from your experience with current and ex-convicts? The issue of rehabilitation, Ghana, we need to understand that Botswana Prison Service is the sole mandate, the main mandate is to rehabilitate offenders during their custody, their good prisoning. But when I speak to prisoners, especially ex-prisoners, most of them feel that rehabilitation is not enough. But I do believe that Botswana Prison Service can do a lot. It still has room for improvement, or it still has a lot of room to actually improve in this area of rehabilitation of offenders. My observation is that they really they focus more on the security of prisoners than the rehabilitation side. Leha budget is, a lot of money is allocated to the security, not rehabilitation. So, as we are all aware that today we are operating with only 5 psychologists, Moody Prison is at 25. I personally believe that's not enough. We should be having, every prison in Botswana should be having its own psychologist. I do believe that Botswana Prison Service in a capacity, the ability to hire more psychologists, so that rehabilitation of offenders. My research has shown that they relate well with psychologists, simply because the psychologists they have the psychologists have a uniform, and I understand how they have to now start wearing the uniform. I don't know how affect the profession, how affect the relationship between the psychologists, because they really need o ke kare ga se lejelekate at all to really help them heal, to help them go through therapy. So yeah, we need to really rotate palo tsa psychologists and also counselors as well. In terms of broadening and enlightening the public about correctional services by prisons, has it ever crossed your mind as an idea to look for sponsorship from anyone interested in order to create a TV series or documentary? That's my wish, really. The whole reason why I do what I do is because I want to show people what happens in the mind of a criminal. How do criminals think? Why do they commit the crimes that they commit? Because a lot of us, we are hurt by criminals. We don't really understand what's going on. We don't know why they take the decisions and the choices that they make. So, as a journalist, as a storyteller, I believe it's my duty to do that. So, I want to see all these stories that I'm doing one day being broadcast on a national television, people really understanding what happens behind the mind of a criminal. Why would somebody commit murder 3 times? Why would somebody rape different people, 5 different people? Because no normal person could do that. So as a storyteller, as a journalist, it is my duty to make sure that I tell these stories, and as the society or as the consumers of the media, and learn and really understand what's going on behind the mind of a criminal. The other question is from Botsilo Ngwako. How do you navigate this path as a woman? What drives you? Being an investigative journalist, as a woman is not an easy thing. You know, it's not easy in the sense that sometimes you get to be intimidated by offenders, especially men. They don't want to be taking pictures, and I understand. They don't want to be taking videos. They're always mad. They're always angry. So navigating this path as a woman is a very challenging thing. But because I'm very determined, but because I'm very passionate, I'm able to break through. I'm able to navigate it very well. And the other most important thing is to build relationships. You build relationships with the police, you build relationships with the DPP, you build the relationships. That's already criminal. There's a way that you can actually navigate how to earn someone's trust. As much as I can earn your trust, I can also earn a criminal's trust. Because you need to understand and remember these are people by long. When they come back from prison, they feel they're being judged. They feel they are not welcome back into the society. So when they've got somebody like Rachel who can actually listen to them, they feel at ease. That is how I'm able to talk to them. That is how I'm able to get interviews from them. Don't you think that some of your interviews can extract vital information for investigating officers and prosecutors against some accused persons? Hence, offenders can view you as an obstacle to their freedom, and this can put your life in jeopardy. Robson, thank you so much for this question. It's a very important question. I think if you really are very observant, you would realize that most of my interviews, I do them with people who have been in prison, those who are outside, right? And they have served their sentences. So even if I can talk to somebody who is still in prison, I interview them just to tell their story. There's information that I can see, this one I cannot publish for the reasons that you have mentioned. I get happy when we do interviews. If I do an interview with you, I listen to your story. I'm like, okay, this story is this information is very, very important and it can incriminate you. So let me not include it. Because when you give me a story, it means you trust me. When you sit down with me to give me your story, it means you trust me. And as a trusted person as well, I need to make sure that I protect you by all means. As journalists, we protect our sources by all means. So it is my duty to make sure that I protect you. So there's no how I can publish information in more so that you are saying the interview. When I do an interview with you, it means what you have agreed. It means that you trust me. Because you must remember the beat that I'm in, crime. You cannot just do interviews with anybody who doesn't trust you. If I do an interview with an ex-robber, it's because he trusts me. I agree. You remember the interviews that we did, how robberies are executed. All those kind of things. So for this guy to give me this kind of information, it means he has got some level of trust. He said that I did not include there or I cut them out from the interview. So yeah. Have you ever thought how people who sell drugs could be stopped? The issue of drugs is it's a very complicated one because people bembadi drugs ke batho ba e leng goreng ba ba tona hela thata, ba ba tona in terms of maemo le di-power. So ga ke itse gore re tle go ikgona ka tsela e ntseng jang ga e ntse yalo, but hela o bona ga nne go te gongwe ditagi katlholo ya teng ke katlholo le leso, ke batla go dumela gore gongwe go ne go tla tswa temo. But in the meantime, really, I haven't really given myself time to get into this one. I don't know. I will see in future if I can be able to get into this one to try and find out what's going on. But what I know is the drugs, they are very powerful, well-resourced, by long they're in executive positions. So I don't know. This one, the Ministry of Defense and Security has established let's just hope that they will manage. Did the prison allow you to do interviews with inmates who are still incarcerated, and do they provide security? This is a very important question, and I would really love to really clarify this. I do not do interviews more than no. I don't do interviews inside prisons. I do interviews with ex-offenders, or I do interviews with prisoners whom I meet at court. So I've never went inside prison to conduct an interview with an inmate. I tried that when I was still at Duma FM. I wrote to the Prison Service and say, I would really love to have conversations with inmates. And I remember at the time it was Wamorena Ramolefe. He responded to me by saying, it's a tricky one because maybe some inmates would sue, but I think I do understand what they mean. Well, it's something that I can still pursue. Maybe if I go to them with a different angle altogether of how I want to do it. Or if I have my own people who are incarcerated, by long maybe I would have met or court and they agree that I do the interviews with them, go prison, we'll see. So it's very important. I wish Botswana Prison Service could allow us as journalists to tell stories of inmates. Imagine we have got people who are sitting on death row. We have people that we have executed, but they have died with their stories. They've died with their why. They've died with their main reasons of why they committed the crimes they committed and how they feel, eventually how they feel now that they've been sentenced to death and they're going to be executed. How do you feel? I wish I could meet up with Mujangi. I wish I could meet up with Polo, just to really understand, now that your appeal has been dismissed, how do you really feel? How do you feel about being executed? How do you feel that you killed that person? Are you remorseful or are you okay? So these are the questions I feel as the media we should be given an opportunity to tell these people's stories. So it's an important issue to deal with. Hello Rachel, I've been following you from Duma FM, where you still had the segment of interviewing ex-convicts, and I thought it was part of your assignment at the station, and now I can see you are still pursuing it. The question is, why are you into it? Which gaps are you trying to close? What inspires you to follow on this every day, and what do you want to achieve at the end of it all? Thank you so much, Wigan. I can see now. Well, as my page is called, Untold Stories with Rachel Sibinyani. So, stories of ex-offenders, stories of ex-convicts, I consider them untold stories. So these are untold stories of Botswana. These are stories we never really get to hear about. So I thought maybe, how about if we give these people a platform to tell their stories, to tell us why they committed the crimes that they committed. How do they feel? How was life inside prison? how was life outside prison? And the stories are very fascinating. These are stories that we really need to hear more about them. So the only thing that I'm trying to achieve out of all this is for all of us to really understand what these are people who are more like us. These are people who are made who they are by the circumstances that they have been through. You might have been raised by your single mother and you turned out okay. He has been raised by his single mother and he turned out to be a criminal. So the question might be why. So this is where we need a psychologist to come and tell us. Because you would understand, or you would realize that most ex-offenders, they tend to blame the absence of another parent in their lives. I wouldn't, okay, let me not say blame, but they attribute their behavior, the way they turned out in life, to the absence of their other parent. So you can see what parenting plays a major role in how a child really turns out. So I want to teach people out there. I want to send a message to parents out there, to the community at large, Hore. A child needs support when they grow up. Otherwise, they're going to become a criminal. A child needs all the love and all the support. At least you would know as a parent that you have done your best, at raising this child. And a child needs both parents. And I know sometimes the circumstances that we live in, they might not allow that for both parents to be there. But the reality, the crimes that are being committed every day, some shows that the absence of the other parent really impacted this child to turn out the way they've turned out. So I just want to see, what I want to see is us as the society really understanding what criminals go through and how a criminal becomes a criminal. And also I want to take prisons to the people. Prisons should be taken to the people. And as a storyteller, as a journalist, as a crime journalist with special interest in prisons and prisoners, it is my role to make sure that we take information out to the people. And how do I take it out to the people? Through the ex-offenders who have lived the experience. So yeah. How difficult is it to find information about prison life? To find information about prison life, it's challenging because then you need to remember that prisoners themselves, they're the ones who can come forward and tell us these stories, especially after they serve their time go prison again. So the only challenge that we have is that ex-prisoners don't want to come out and share their stories. There are just few people who would do that. Even when I was at radio, it was just a few of them who would come to the platform and speak out, without being anonymous. But most of them, they would prefer to be anonymous simply because they are scared to be stigmatized, because that stigma is still there. People are failing to really accept back the prisoners, Habazogo prison. And I don't really entirely blame the society, because we really need to understand criminals hurt people, criminals traumatize people. So it won't really be easy for people to accept these people back when they come back. So I think this is something that we really need to understand. And Ronaro Lebo Behari Kang working together with Botswana Prison Service, we can actually teach people about the importance of accepting back prisoners into the society. And that is where the reintegration program Memarate gets in. She has introduced a very beautiful reintegration program. It involves all the relevant stakeholders, from the COSI to VDC to everybody else. It's quite inclusive of the whole society. So this initiative or this program, so I think we should all take part in it, and also understand the importance of accepting back into society when they come back. That really helps in the sense he or she want to re-offend, he or she would feel loved and appreciated by the society or by the community. So ga re mo supegetsa lerato leo, ga re mmontsha gore mo amogetse, kgonagalo ya gore gongwe a se ka boela ko prison, it's very high. And also tota, it also depends on the work that was done inside prison. How well prepared is he to rejoin the community? That is what is really important to really establish, so that when we say we accept back the prisoner into society, Botswana Prison Service law needs to have as the society or the community that will accept him, that will be receiving back the prisoner. Gore e be re diretse tiro motlhogo gongwe ka go mo aga sešale ka gale, then rona be re tsenela ka go mo amogela le ka go mo supegetsa lorato le go supa jalo gore we have accepted him back. E be re mo dirisa le mo community to show him that, or to show her that we love and accept him, and we see his importance in the whole community at large. Have you been attacked by criminals before? I've never been attacked by criminals. They've never attacked me. The only thing that happens when I'm at court is just threats here and there, or don't take me pictures, don't take me videos. Yeah, so those are the kind of things that happens when I'm at court. But otherwise, I've never been attacked by any criminal, even outside court or even it has never really happened. Did it ever cross your mind that you might be endangering your life by running after issues that some may be victims and some accused of? And how much are you doing to make sure your family as a whole is safe? Okay, I know how dangerous it could be. I know, but because I know what I'm up for, I wouldn't consider what I do to be against criminals. I'm not against criminals, really, or I'm not telling their stories because I am against them. No, I'm telling their stories so that we can understand better why this person commits crime, these people commit the crimes that they commit. So I don't think they could really attack me, especially when they know what I do. Remember the conversation that I had with an ex-robber? Did you hear what he was saying about the people that they rob, or why and how they get to rob some people? If you can go back to that conversation that I had, the interview that I had with an ex-robber, you would understand how criminals work. So even those that I meet at court, should they really understand what Rachel does, I don't think at all they would feel that they need to attack me, because I'm only helping them in the sense that I make the society to understand their stories better. I am telling their stories, not in the bad way. Whenever I tell stories, I don't tell stories because I want to expose somebody. I'm telling stories because we really need solutions. I tell stories because solutions are needed to everything that we do. And that's the whole idea of why I'm telling a story. Who is Rachel? Rachel Gemang. Okay, I love this question. Rachel Sibinyane, o tswa ko Thamaga. Rachel ke mosetsana ko Thamaga. Rachel ke mosadi ko Nshakashokwe. Tota Rachel hela ke mme yo tserweng yo e leng goreng o tswa ko Thamaga ba tsewa ko bokala ka ko Nshakashokwe. Mme batsadi ba me ba e leng goreng my in-laws ba nna jalo ko Makobo village. So I'm just a very vibrant girl, a very curious and ambitious lady who loves storytelling. I love storytelling. I love everybody. I converse with everybody. Whenever you can see me, wherever you see me, say hi to me, okay? So yes, I am that kind of a person who really loves storytelling. I love storytelling with all of my heart. That's what really defines Rachel. I have never went inside prison to see how it looks like. I do understand that back in the years, Botswana Prison organized a trip, a media tour for journalists, and I want to believe those years I was still in school, so I've never had the opportunity really to get inside prison and see how it all looks like. And I wish I could, I would love that opportunity. And the other thing that I would really love to see and experience is the death chamber. I want to see where people get executed, how it is, because I'm failing to understand gore Botswana why is it that there's a lot of secrecy around capital punishment? How is it executed? Everything. Why are we not allowed to at least see the death chamber, to see how it is? I'm really failing to understand, or at least why we cannot be accorded that opportunity to speak to the death row inmates, just to get to hear their feelings and everything. So I don't know. We'll see as years go by. Augila Wapantita, have I been a prisoner before? No. No, I've never been a prisoner. I'm just curious. I have keen interest in prisons and prisoners, like I always mention. So I've never been a prisoner myself. Have you ever been arrested by law enforcement agents? No, I've never been arrested. I've never been arrested. I've never been harassed. I've never been threatened by law enforcement agents. Never. It has never happened. How far the case ya batho bale ba bale 10? Oh, well, honestly speaking, right now I don't have any update on that one. And how far with the girl who was left, I do not know. Honestly, I do not have answers for this question. I haven't really gotten any update. I haven't really tried to find out how far with it. Honestly, I do not have answers. I'm really sorry, but I'll definitely check. I'll definitely check. How far with interview ya Peggy? I'm really so sorry that I know the interview is long overdue. We really have to do the interview, and I'm very sorry, guys, that I took long to do Peggy's interview. We are going to definitely do it, and very soon, before end of July, we would have done the interview, and I'm going to definitely make sure that I upload the whole interview, because it's, for those who don't know who Peggy is is an ex-offender. She is an ex-offender who served 10 years inside prison for Africa Borwa. She managed to take care of her kids whilst she was incarcerated. It's a very interesting story that you guys should be looking forward to. That is why I get a lot of people asking me how far with it, but I'm very, very sorry, guys. I'm going to definitely make sure that Peggy's interview gets to be published. What is your view on issues of GBV since the whole wow, these issues are a concern now. And like you are rightly saying, Boise, they are rising every day. There's something that I realized about issues of GBV. Most of them ke dikgang tsa baratani akere dikgang tsa baratani ba e leng gore ba babedi jalo go tle go nna le kgang tsa ditsietso. That is what I've realized. Even the cases that I've attended to, the cases that I've seen, the prosecute, you are going into trial, sentencing and everything, it's all about cheating. So I think when we deal with GBV, really, we are not really dealing with the problem alien thing. Alien it really shows relationship. I don't know if we choose to deal with it the way we deal with it. How are we really addressing GBV? I think government should really come up with different strategies now or consult. Because like I'm saying, in relationships. That's the reality. And if we are not going to address that. We are simply going to be having these issues rising every day. Honestly, if we are not going to address that, I personally believe so perhaps if we address issues maybe if we address that and find ways of addressing that and tackling that, I think we can talk about do. But otherwise, I don't know. I just don't know. And I don't even know how the government intends on dealing with GBV. I really don't know. A lot is happening. A lot of people are going through a lot. A lot of people have got issues that they're battling with, and it's a lot. So I honestly don't know. Are you married? Yes, I'm married. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. Yes. Can't you suggest for strokes and community service for petty crimes than fill prison cells with them? That's a very I personally believe it's a very good approach. That is where we talk about restorative justice. So rather than sending someone to prison for petty crime, like this person is saying, I think to give them strokes, it's better. To give them something to do for the community, it's better than taking them to prison. Because what I've realized and what offenders have confirmed to me is that some prisoners, some people go to prison for petty crimes, like we are saying, and then they come back from prison as hardened criminals or as people who have learned more advanced ways of doing crime. So this person that we took to prison with a petty crime, had we maybe said, you know what, do community work, take 4 strokes, and then do community work, maybe they would have turned out to be a better person than having taken him to prison and then he learned some advanced ways of committing crime. So I personally think that will be a very good approach, rather than filling our prisons with people for just petty crimes. Don't you sometimes feel unease when interviewing these prisoners and ex-convicts? This is a very important question. Thank you so much. Of course, I'm always on my guard, but one thing that I want you guys to understand is that most interviews that I do with criminals, with ex-offenders, with is that most of the times, I make sure that I take time talking to you over the phone before I could actually meet with you. I establish a relationship with you over the phone. I make sure that you trust me. I trust you as well and everything before I can actually go and meet with you. And I never meet with my sources in private. I meet them in public. I meet them in open spaces. I meet them where there are people and everything. So, but because Rabira established a relationship, it becomes easier. It's not entirely a problem. So, whenever I go and meet with them, yeah, basically I'm relaxed because I would know what there's an ex-robber. What if he can take my phone? What if he can take my car? All those kind of things. So all those things, everything, but because there's somebody I've been speaking to for the past 3 months, we established a relationship, we established a rapport. I go there with the hope that all will go well, and all the time everything goes well. So when did you last have sex? Wow. Well, I'm a married woman, I have sex whenever and however I want. So I have sex, That's how I can answer this question. How do you react when a criminal is sentenced, more especially death sentence? The maid, you have asked me a very important question. There's something that I want you guys to understand. I'll be following these stories. I'll be following your story from the day it breaks. We go into different and many mentions, and then we go for you get committed to the higher court. The trial starts. It becomes a very long trial. I see you all this time. I see you. I take you pictures. I take you some videos. Those videos will be on my phone. I'm able to read your body language. I can see how you feel. Sometimes you are happy. Sometimes you are sad. Sometimes you're very angry. You don't even want me near you. So to answer your question honestly, sometimes it affects me. I don't want to lie, guys. Sometimes it does affect me. To see this person that I've always been following their case being sentenced to death. The fact that I sort of developed a relationship with you, now you're going to die. It really affects me, honestly. But not meaning to say you shouldn't be sentenced to death, but the fact that an ultimate capital punishment has been imposed on you, it really affects me, honestly. Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy. Ghana, sometimes because I get to see the accused person by Langwar and they feel remorseful about what they did. We actually have such people who are remorseful, who feel bad about the decisions that they made, about the choices that they made. So, but because the law is the law, it has to apply, So, yeah. I'm running for the